Yeah, good morning, everybody. US market saw some breather yesterday after continuous daily market saw some correction, mainly led by the Fed minutes of the meeting which was held earlier, wherein Fed increased interest rate by 0.75%. So people were looking at how's the trend likely to be in the coming Fed meeting in September. So nothing clear clue came out from the minutes that the interest rate will be coming off in the coming period. And as such, market saw some corrections in the US market. Futures are also more of a marginal down, and Asian markets are indicating some declining trend of around 0.5 to 0.75% in across the markets. Commodity oil up by around $1, and the other commodities are seeing some softness, like iron ore is down by around 3%, and steel is down by around 2% in China today morning. So overall, seems more of a profit booking type of scenario expected in the current today's trade. Now, I'll request technical team to take up from here first.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, all of you. Today we expect some profit booking in upper range. Today we see the upside immediate resistance in 18,040, 18,100 next for Nifty, and Nifty trading near the upper range that overbought zone. So we expect some profit booking at current level. Next immediate support place around 17,780. Below 17,780, then we see further sell off towards 17,400, 17,500. We remain cautious on this level. We expect some profit booking in higher range. Bank Nifty also trading a higher range, and we expect some profit booking Bank Nifty also. Next immediate resistance place around 39,750 and 40,000 in upside. Immediate support place around 39,240 and 39,000 at downside. If Bank Nifty break that level, then we expect further selling pressure towards 38,500, 8,600 at downside. Nifty Finance also trading in upper range. Next immediate resistance place around 18,200, 18,220 in upside. Immediate support place around 18,100, below 18,100, next 18,000, next immediate support for Nifty Finance. So all three index trading in upper range. So Q4 was that important level and keep profit booking at this level. Stock Pacific national minimum looks positive at current level also. We already given call in national minimum. Next immediate target 88.90 upside and stop loss place around 77. Second, Tata DVR also looks positive at current level. About again break 240 level and sustain that level, then we expect 252 and 254 in upside, and downside support place around 232 to 31 at downside. That's it for technical derivative.
Yeah, thank you, because good morning, everyone. So, as per derivatives, the data front, we are seeing that as per the OI positions in yesterday's session, around at 17,800 strike, call writer positions of almost around 7 million positions got liquidated, while against that at 17,800 and 900 strike, put writer positions got added up. So, currently, we are seeing that as per the OI position, there is not much of a pressure from the current scenario. Once if index goes below 17,800 level, then we might witness profit booking towards 17,500 level. But on the upper end, we are seeing that at 17,900 to 18,100 is the upper range for the market currently. As per the OI positions on the monthly basis, 18,000 strike is holding highest call rate of positions. So once if 18,000 strike positions got liquidated, more positions are getting added on, and then only we might get the clear trend from the current perspective. Currently, the view is positive with the range bound session of 17,800 to 18,100 level. We are saying there is some sort of positions are getting shifted on the upper end at 18,100 and 18,200 strike, because in yesterday's session we have seen that 17,700 and 800 call positions got liquidated, and that positions are getting added up at 18,100 and 200 level. So view might be positive, but with the support of 17,800 level. While we are seeing that the PCR yesterday closed at 1.40 level and India VIX closed at a 17.68 level. So these both data are also showing a positive momentum. Today is also the weekly expiry, so we might expect the market to remain in the range of 17,800 to 18,000 level. But if index goes above 18,000 level, then we might expect the fresh buying can be initiated in the market, and below 17,800 level, the longs can be exited and the fresh shorts will be created towards 17,600 and 500 level. That's it from the derivative front. Thank you.
Good morning. Yesterday we attended a con call of a small company, IceMake Refrigeration. It offers refrigeration solutions for transport, commercial, industrial refrigeration to industries like agriculture, dairy, pharma, healthcare, retailing, and even QSR and restaurants. So it is essentially a bet on economic recovery. The company will have a top line of 280 crores this year, and it is guiding for 25 to 30% growth going forward, and having an ROC of 25%. So all these things look decent. However, valuation at 20 times FY23 and 16 times FY24 seems that stock is reasonably priced. So at declines, one can look at the company, and from current levels, we feel still it can give around 20-25% compounded returns from long-term point of view. In other news, data for microfinance industry was released for the June quarter, whereby the loan portfolio for the whole industry grew by 24% year on year, which is much higher than the banking system credit growth, which is around 13%. And the total size of the industry has now reached 2,75,000 crores. And also on the asset quality front, the recovery has reached almost 99%, which is much better than the previous quarters. And within the MFI space, as we have discussed earlier, we prefer stocks like Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, Credit Access Grameen, and Mass Financial. Thank you.
Yeah, apart from this, yesterday we met the management of Som Distillery. In fact, they are into the beer business and having a core market in MP. Apart from that, they have wherein they in MP they have a market share of around over 40%, whereas apart from that, they have a market in Odisha where they have a market share of around 12%, and again Karnataka, which is very big market, there also they got around 12% market share. Last quarter result was very attractive, considering that last two seasons basically beer get maximum sales and profit in Q1. And last 2 years, the company was facing COVID situations in FY22 and FY21. Both the year they faced COVID situation, and the core season they lost. So this quarter they got full benefit of the heat season, and the results was very good. The point is, like, company had invested a lot of money pre-COVID to expand the capacity from just a single brewery in West Bengal to Karnataka and then to Odisha. And in MP, Karnataka and Odisha, MP, they also doubled their capacity. So in 2017-18, their gross block was around 125 crore, and which got increased to 450 crores. So with the current gross block, they can do revenue of around 1,100-1,200 crores, which was earlier the level of 300 crores and all. So current year company expect generally Q1 company get revenue anywhere between 35 to 40% of the yearly revenue. Considering that the company is likely to do around 630 crores of revenue in the current quarter, mainly driven by a increase in market share in Karnataka and also Odisha. And also they are entering into UP and UP market as well, where they are getting a good response. So company is likely to show good performance on a yearly basis, but the key benefit season has already gone in Q1. Q2 is generally a soft quarter, and in overall for the year, company may do an EPS of around 4 rupees 30 paisa, and share is trading somewhere at around 23 times FY23 earning, and around next year earning share is trading somewhere at around 13-14 times. And considering that a smaller brewery with core brand own brands, share can trade at around 18 to 20 times. And upside from here is around 20-25% for the company, considering FY24 results. So what we see that since the good season has gone and now the Q2 will be a soft quarter, one should wait for entering into the stock once the Q2 result is out, and which seems to be generally the trend is soft. So at that point of time, if the prices come down a bit from here, then one can look to enter the stock from a bit longer term perspective. So outlook remain positive from a long term perspective, but currently one can look to buy only on decline. Apart from that, what we are seeing the steel sector update. Here what we see that in last 15-20 days, the coking coal prices has moved up by around $60-65, whereas iron ore is up by around 400 rupees in India. And steel prices, HRC steel, are down by around 500 rupees. So the delta, that is the gross margin for the steel company in last 15 days, are down by almost around 3,000 rupees. So that can have some negative impact on the steel stock. So need to be careful at current point of time, as the spot gross margin is showing a declining trend. So one need to be very careful. Sona BLW, Jan, you will be talking, or should I take?
Sir, you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. See, Sona BLW, mainly the story is of EV. EV has driven this stock in the past substantially. But of late, in recent past, because of the semiconductor shortage, the growth has slowed down in the recent past. And earlier, which the company was growing over 40-50%, which has come off in the recent past. But the long-term story remain intact. But considering the valuations of around 46 times FY24 earning, these valuations are not very cheap. So one can it's not like whatever the offer is coming today on a block deal, and because of that, if the share prices are coming down, then it will be very attractive. Very long term positive, but in short term, stock is likely to remain sideways. So now we can hand it over to commodity team.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Today, commodities are likely to witness some sideways movement. However, gold can be bought around 51,500 with a stop loss of 51,300. The upside, we feel 51,800, 850, where again profit taking could be witnessed. Silver to 56,700 is a good support area. So So if sustains above 57,700, one can buy with a 57,200, 56,200 stop loss. Again, prices can test 57,500, 58,000 on higher end. Crude can witness some upside momentum. Prices have corrected sharply, so a pullback can be witnessed. Maybe 7100, 7150. So buying around 6970 is recommended. Also, one can go for a 7,000 call. Around let's say when crude oil is 79.50, 79.70, one can enter in 7,000 call. um, NG might witness some profit taking after this rally. So as long as sustaining below 740, prices can correct 725, 715. Copper, since holding 660 levels, so one can enter long with a small stop loss of 657. Prices can test 66, 68 on the higher end. However, the movement will be range bound, so taking profit on higher end is advisable. Similarly, aluminum 200 and 12, 13, one can take profits. So can enter around 210 with a stop loss of 208. Zinc can edge higher till 318 to 20, whereby profit taking could be witnessed. So if you are long, you can enter long with a stop loss of 315 for a pullback till 318, 19, whereby again profit taking can be witnessed. So taking on profits is advisable. That's it from me. Ria can take over from here.
Good morning, everyone. So, on the currency front, UK inflation has been released. It has come in double digit. This is in line with our expectations. So, the UK inflation has hit 10.1%, indicating that the food and energy prices have continued to surge, and the inflation pressure is continued in the UK economy. Going forward, I think Bank of England has to do more than just 25 or 50 bips rate hike in order to control the accelerating inflation. They have themselves said that it could reach the level of 13-14% in the coming quarters. So I think 50 to 75 bips rate hike is something that could be expected on Bank of England in the next policy meet. The Fed minutes released yesterday. Now, according to the Fed minutes, the Fed panel has indicated that they are not seeing a very good sign of inflation decelerating at a very good pace. So they'll continue with the aggressive stand. But of course, taking into consideration, they have stated that they are seeing some slowdown into the economy. So the discussion around when to slow down the pace of the rate hikes is something they are in talks with. So I think in the next policy meet, we can, instead of 75 bips, they could go for a 50 bips rate hike. For the Eurozone, they have released a that has come into the positive. It rose by 0.6% quarter on quarter. But I think this is the last positive GDP numbers that Eurozone could post, taking into consideration that the whole Eurozone is also struggling with the energy crisis, and the inflation is also high in all the Euro nations right now. So taking into that consideration, I think dollar index will continue with its stronghold. We have seen Indian rupee opening at 79.64. I think going for in the today's session, 79.88 and 79.98 would act as an important resistance. One could buy above the level of 79.75 for a target of 79.98. Keep a very strict SL at 79.50. For GBP INR, 96 will be a very important level. If it breaches 95.90, 95.95, you could go short into the pair for a target of 95.70 with a stop loss at 96.10. So that's all on the currency front. Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.